right. And welcome to our second episode of First Shorts. Today, we are keeping it in the family. We are sitting down with the creative powerhouses behind Rosary Lane Films, Alex Smith and Alonzo Smith Jr., better known to the industry as the Smith Brothers. From their roots in New Orleans to the bright lights of Los Angeles, these two have been honing their craft since day one. Alex, the actor, writer, and producer, turned a childhood knack of impersonating relatives into a professional career, training at the prestigious AMDA, otherwise known as the American Musical and Dramatic Academy, and co-founding the LA sketch comedy group Old School Peep Show. Alonzo, the director and producer, found his calling as early as 6th grade, where he was tapped to write the school play. Since then, he's navigated the fast lane of entertainment, from the high-stakes world of e-news and live from the red carpet, to executive producing the short film About Today on AMC's network affiliate, Shorts HD. Together, they are building a legacy. So, Smith Brothers, welcome to the show.
Oh, man, it's
Thanks
great
for having
great
us.
to be with you guys. You guys look familiar. I feel like we
no
worked
doubt.
together, right?
Really? Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Chaka, are you not a part of the Smith brothers?
By name only. No relation. Hey, look, the Smiths are great, from Will Smith, the slap, to us,
Oh, wow.
Jeez.
Hey, we don't take any, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad to have you on. Yes, we've worked together before. I think we've made a short together ourselves, the four of us. But I think Alex, we've known each other for some time now. It takes us back from roaming
man.
around into the mall days to now like making stuff together. But as we get ready to jump into this film, I don't know, one of you hit us with the log line. Like what is this about?
So the log line, so the name of the short is called Hello Again. And so the log line is a young widower struggles to cope with his new life, though a chance encounter with a stranger gives him the lasting he expects to have, which is hope.
All right, looks like Shaka's jumping in here.
Yeah. I can
Okay.
go ahead and start it so everyone can get a look at it. Because I
Okay,
realize
are
it's
we
a black
going to
screen.
pause or are we just going to go through it?
I think let's go through it. And if there's a place that you want us to pause that you really want to break down, then we can go
Okay.
ahead and
Sure.
do that.
But first thing is like, what drew you to this project or this story?
So Alonzo and I actually had a different short that we wanted to do. You guys remember the Silk Road, the guy who got caught trying to do the murder for hires and everything. So we were going to actually try to do a short version of that, but flip it, have it be a woman, and have it be a couple of different things there. And I think I had read something about a widow, and I was just like so intrigued by the idea of widowhood for somebody who at that time I was in my very early 30s, late 20s, 30s, and kind of what that looked like. And how do you live the rest of your life after you thought you were going to spend your life with someone? And so this was actually great. Sujata Day, who's a phenomenal actress. But when I told Lonzo, he was pretty much on board, right, Leo?
Yeah, definitely. It was something that I don't know I've seen before in film. And just to be able to kind of explore those emotions, because when you think of someone who's out of a relationship, it's not like they just go back on Hinge and it's just like, okay, let's go on to the next. I mean,
Right.
these widowers, they have these emotions that not everyone else has, and Alex did a really good job on screen. I thought, portraying that.
Yeah, I appreciate
Yeah.
that. And actually, this was the last thing we shot on our second weekend. So we basically split it up into 2 weekends. The first weekend, we actually shot the kind of post life that he had. And so this is the first weekend. So it's kind of interesting to film the after, the aftermath first, and then the before, which is actually quite nice from an acting standpoint, because it's like I got to experience the thing that I was talking about to the other characters and feeling the things I was talking about. So it actually helped inform the choices on the day, because I was thinking about her and talking about her so much in the beginning that we come back around and we get to have these moments, and I don't know, it just felt freer.
Familiarity. Yeah.
Yeah, Sujata is
This
a riot,
wild
man.
morning. This was a wild morning. Like she. I mean, you guys have a line in here where she says "killed it," but she really did kill this scene. Like, I mean, some of the stuff she was saying wasn't even in the script. Like, it was.
So a lot of this was like just improv off the cuff.
It was a
Yeah,
wild morning.
Sujata is hilarious. Now this was great. I was in my Magic Mike game right here when I was doing the
Yeah.
It's so silly.
oh my gosh. You could tell. I mean, I worked out, but I mean, I'm a scrawny guy, and if you can see my chest, it's a mess up there.
It's funny. You and Shaka could be in the same casting room. Just
I'm
we're
almost
Smiths.
certain we
We're,
were.
we're
at one
Smiths,
point.
you know?
yeah. And did you guys like secure funding for this? Did you self-finance? Like,
This was all self-financed.
okay,
Okay.
Yeah. Budget came in, I believe, between 7,000 and 8,000.
okay.
This was a time where I think we were thinking about the GoFundMe stuff, but which is good, in a lot of cases. But for us, it was just too many hoops, and we were like, man, let's just go ahead and do this ourselves. And we had some capital, and we just did it.
Yeah, and I mean, I think one of the big mistakes I think I made was this is really quickly. This is great.
You gotta let this ride out.
Yeah, she's basically saying she was. I gave her a line which was like, they look like a bunch of spiders running away from each other. The chest hair, my chest hair at the time, and probably still at this moment. They're just some old spiders now with a little bit of gray.
Welcome. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, right. But that was just so great. And this was one of my favorite kind of moments and how we shot it. We had our cinematographer, who you guys know, David Marroquin, and you worked with him. We wanted to do a little bit of Spotless Mind kind of homage here.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering what the inspiration was for this.
Yeah, Spotless Mind was an inspiration for that, and we wanted to have this kind of in their world. And then the transition, the phone rings. He's kind of he's back and he's got a beard, there's some gray there, and he's by himself, the lighting, and so all that. But really quickly, with regards to the finance, I had a buddy of mine who was going to finance us, and we were on the hook waiting for him for a while. I don't know if you remember this, Lonzo. Like,
Yeah,
he had a lot. He was kind of a financial services guy, and so he had some disposable income he was going to help us with. Ended up not working out, and so I called Lonzo, and he was just like, let's just self-finance. We did the first film that we produced. Let's just do it for this film. So this is actually at our cinematographer's house, David Marroquin, his old place before they moved. And we just kind of wanted to show the isolation. Like, I mean, notice I'm not in that last image. I'm never the center of frame. I'm always off frame a little bit, because we wanted to show the kind of negative space and the fact that he's kind of
missing.
Not only he's off center, but he's just he's kind of alone in this space. And then here comes this. I love this.
Right, but
I love that.
The quietness.
My gosh.
The quietness too is almost a character, and for me, now that I'm looking back at this, it kind of likens to our father passed some years back, and the first time going back in the house, it's just different. It's not that same vibe. And that's kind of what we're getting at here too.
So I had a question on this. Since you said that you self-finance, did you go through like the LA? I'm assuming this was shot in LA, right? Because David and all of you guys are out here. For the farmers market, was this something that like
this was fast and loose right here, brother?
That's what I want to know.
Loose and fancy free.
Alonzo, hey,
go ahead.
But no, we remember. So David and I. David's, he's LAPD, but he's a cinematographer, really is what he should be doing. And so what happened was we went there the week before and was like, look, we want to film here. So we used this guy's stand. And then, of course, the day of, we have someone saying we can't film there. So David we had already paid the vendor. So David is talking to this lady. I'm having to say, I'm a student at SMC, which I was kind of at the time taking some classes there. And I had to give her my ID and all this stuff. And it's like, I mean, guys, we've done this before. We've been here before, guys, where we had to do some smoke and mirrors. But this was great. Katie Streeter, who's a fantastic actress, she's a therapist now, and she's a really great one. And I really wanted to work with her because I think she just had this quality about her. And Lonzo met her, and that was just kind of one of those moments where we were like, she has the like guts to be able to like jump into something like that, and just really own it.
Before moving completely on, you said that I think Shaka's gonna ask you what's it like working with kids. Like, did you have a studio teacher? I think I know where you're going.
Lonzo.
Yeah, that was on the budget. That was something we could not get around. There was
I mean, that's a question that for the filmmakers that are watching this or whatnot. That's why I'm asking these questions of what you went through. So you went through the
all
process.
Of these kids. And they're in college now.
Oh, dude.
I was like the little girl whose birthday it is.
Yeah.
I went to her. I would go see her play high school basketball, and then went to her graduation. And her brother was in our first film, playing a younger version of me. So like those little girls down there, like they're in college. One is at
That's
Oregon and
kinda
the other one's
incredible.
at Stanford now. And then
That's
I don't know
crazy.
where Layla is, but
So,
Laurel's at I think George Washington. Like it's
so
incredible.
Wait,
So
so what year
so
did you? Oh, go ahead, Charles.
I think both of these, because you said they were in your first. This is not your first short
no, this is the first short that Alonzo and I
First short
directed.
we directed. Yeah.
directed. Okay,
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
I'm gonna circle back to like how you two co-direct. But talking
Yeah.
about Marroquin and Gorilla, filmmaking and working on a tight budget. How big was your crew for this?
I think
Not very
Lonzo
big. Not
Lonzo
very
was
big.
kind of more the GM of the of the experience.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's something too that I think that we took away. We kind of learned from this film. Is just like you need more people because me, Alex is acting. I'm trying to help and co-direct with him, and then I'm also getting pings like, "Hey, we need batteries. Can you sign off on this?" Too. Well, that's something that we kind of took away from this film. Is just like, yeah, you definitely need to be able to share those responsibilities a lot better.
Yeah, and you need key people
Yeah.
in key positions because we had two
Right.
cameras. We wanted to run two cameras because
Mhm.
we felt like if we could get as much footage, we could maybe match this with this, get this with that, and sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't.
Right.
Shout out to my man Dale right here in this scene, who, God love him, man, didn't have his lines and
Line.
it
Line.
and this is like a
Line.
highly emotional scene.
I'm
Dale
not
didn't have
cracking
it.
up, but I am kind of cracking up when every time he
Right.
says
Oh my God, it was
line. I'm
so
like,
great.
Jesus Christ.
Fine. And it was, and so, part of this, I like this interesting part of the story because it's like, his brother is going through this experience and he's like basically forcing him to come to his niece's birthday and guilting him to come. And then when he gets there, he just kind of is withdrawn a little bit. He's isolating himself. And so his brother kind of comes in and is just like, "Hey man, what's going on?" And asking him, "Hey, are you going to be okay? And I'm here for you, but I can't do it for you anyway." So this was a really good scene between the brothers, and a lot of that relationship is based on my relationship with Alonzo. Alonzo's my older brother, and he's like somebody that I've always looked up to, but he's always somebody that's like been a third parent. And so he's really we're 5 years apart. So he's always kind of, in a way, really looked after me from going to elementary, middle school together to coming out here and stuff like that. So this relationship was kind of written in a way to kind of mirror my brother's relationship. My brother's very intuitive with me, and he knows when I'm going through some stuff. So, like, really quick story. On our first night of shooting, I don't know if you remember this, Lonzo, Katie and I were, and it's the end of this film, Katie, the actress, and I, Katie Streeter and I were doing this thing, and I was just feeling like I was torpedoing the
Oh, yeah.
film. This was
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the first scene that we're shooting at night
Yeah.
on our first
Mhm.
day. And
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
"Lonzo, I'm torpedoing this film, brother. I don't know if
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it." in this.
Oh
I
no.
was,
And he
yeah.
pulled me aside and he was like, "Alex, you're okay." The next morning he called before we started shooting. He was like, "You're doing some really good work, man. You're doing some really, really good work." And
Mhm.
that actually built my confidence up to continue on and not focus on how I'm doing, but focus on being present as the character and how I'm feeling and the choices that I'm making and what I
Right.
want. And so anyway, so I know I'm going
No.
on, but that
No.
was
I
No, no,
that was a
no,
remember
big one.
that. I remember that. I mean, I was doing that, one, because I was your brother. But two, we'd already paid for everything. So it was just like, this has got to work.
The
We
producer,
got to get through
the
this.
the
producer
This
comes
producer,
gotta
the
out.
work.
producer hat.
You know what I'm
Charles,
saying?
right?
The
That looks
producer
familiar,
hat was
right?
on.
It just feels like,
The money has already been budgeted. We must go on.
It's like, I love you,
yeah.
brother, but I
I
need you
love
to
you.
work.
I need
Exactly.
No,
Exactly that.
but
that's what a great coach does, right?
yeah. Well, we're gonna stay focused on the film because I do have questions again as we talk about
Yeah.
budget and like how'd you secure this restaurant and like
Yeah.
the
Man.
extras in the background are those real
Yeah.
patrons like
No, so
Alex,
my
you can
buddy,
go with the story. I just
yeah.
have to make this one point. This is probably the most proudest I've been on this film for this particular scene. The way it was set up, all
Mhm.
the background players, where we had it. Like this was great. Go ahead.
Thanks, Lonzo. Yeah, my buddy Pete, who's passed away now, but this was his restaurant in Westwood, and Skylight Gardens, and we shot. The comedy group that I was with shot a music video there, and I had asked him, "Hey, man, I need this for this short film I want to do." Now, the waiter is an actual waiter of theirs that we asked to join, and the extras
Nailed it.
are friends of friends and friends of ours.
Oh, nice.
So it was, and we were so funny story about this. You guys, this will be familiar too. We were actually not going to be able to get the main dining room. they had like a little kind of conference room, and it just did not look like this. It did not look this beautiful and open with the lights and everything. I mean, look at look at
Yeah,
how
it's
she
great.
looks with it. It's
Mhm.
beautiful. And so I was having a meltdown. This was like the film of meltdowns with me. I did not handle pressure
Yeah.
well. I was CJ Stroud in the
Oh, you gotta do that to me.
come
Sorry,
back.
AFC
Stroud.
divisional championship
The
game. Yeah.
divisional
gotta do
round.
that
Sorry,
to me.
Shaka. But I was not handling it well. But our friend David Coe, who you guys know, and Alonzo kind of talked me off the ledge and just kind of focused me a little bit. It was like, we're gonna be okay. And then we ended up getting the main room, and the rest is kind of history with that. And this was like one of my favorite things. So I come up with this idea that she was a baker, right? But
Mhm.
then she makes boozy pastries. And so the story she's telling is that she had mixed up a kid's order with
That's
a
funny.
bachelorette order, and she brought the liquor for the kids, and the parents were like, "What's going on with the kids?" They're kind of, and she was like, "No, they're not crashing because of sugar high. They're crashing because they're drunk. They're passing out."
Oh,
So I really like that. Oh, these David and Alyssa, our dear
so
friends.
I really like this scene because in this scene, he's fading off and like, zoning out. But the
Sure.
way that
Yeah.
you do it, you pan to the people in the back and he picks up their voices.
Yeah.
And like Katie here is paused. Was that something that you guys had planned, or is that something that came up on the day?
That's in the script. That's in the
Okay.
script.
Yep.
And I wanted them to be, because they were, I think, engaged at that point. And so I wanted, these are
Yeah.
my good friends. And so we wanted him to have that kind of moment
Mm.
where he kind of drifts off and sees that. And then he's overwhelmed in that moment. And then
Right.
I remember this. I really was wondering how this was going to go. And I had Sujata's face in my mind. And I just thought about what it would mean to just miss her so much, and to just be, it's just one of the things you learn with grief is that it just comes whenever it comes and it
Mhm.
hits you. And I remember David, our cinematographer, had looked at the footage that night after we left. We left at around maybe 1:00.
Yeah.
He sends us notoriously sends us a text at 2 a.m. telling us about this scene. And he was crying in his car when he was looking at the footage. And I remember I was trying to stop crying. And I mean, I was trying to pull myself together. But I think just the emotion of the moment, and that's why you see that jump cut, that emotion of the moment. And then that kind of
And
you see him getting
deep breath,
himself
too.
together and trying to breathe through. It's my boy Alan and his wife Mash. Now notice when I come in, it's like I don't even make eye contact with her.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a lot of things going on with him, a sense of shame because he almost feels like, am I cheating on my wife?
Mhm.
And then this thing of I'm not ready to do whatever this is.
Mhm. He's still
And
grieving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. 100%.
It's you can't choose the time in which you meet people, but you just got to go, and yeah.
It's a great scene. I really like I like the thought process that you got into his head visually for us in the camera. And again, that location, I was amazed with the lighting and everything it is that you set up with that, especially that over the head shot. Because I'm assuming the restaurant had
Yeah, it's
that second.
upstairs.
Yeah.
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 Upstairs.
So I thought the story was beautiful in that, and that he has that moment of grief where he breaks down. And we get to follow and experience that, and him trying to come back and I guess re-enter society with
Right.
this emotional.
That's a good
grief
way to
that he
put it.
has. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. So really quickly, this scene is really important because for the writers and directors who are watching this, and if you're going to be in your own film, nothing is precious. So this scene is a lot longer. Alonzo, you know where this is going.
Mm.
And I had a lot more dialogue in this scene.
Mm-hmm.
We in the edit, David Marroquin, who's also our editor at the time, was
One of my questions.
yeah, we all looked at it together and we're like, there's something off. And I know David and Alonzo were like, I know Alex he's really doing something special in this scene, but it's just too long.
Just at the
And
floor.
I had to speak up and I was like, hey, I think we need to cut a lot of my dialogue and have her drive the scene.
And they were like,
And they were
yes.
like, and they were like,
Yes.
hey, you know what? Yeah,
Literally.
that's a good idea.
It was almost disrespectful
They were
the way
sitting
we
on
were
it.
so quick with it, you know?
Yo,
And I kind of was
Charles,
like, damn, that's
Chuck,
kind of
they were
tough, you
sitting
know?
on it, and they were just
Yeah.
like, "Yep, is he gonna do it? Is he gonna do it?" Yep. And then they just,
Oh, you think
yeah,
so?
they-
Okay, yeah, no problem. No, but
I
let's
remember
move
that
on.
like it was
Cut.
yesterday.
Next scene.
Yeah.
That's exactly now. If you look at how we're sitting in the
Mhm.
position, right? So like she is in that kind of
Mhm.
superior position, kind of a little bit elevated. That's kind of where they are in their lives right now. And I think that was anyway. That was kind of like everything is on purpose. Excuse me, intentional. This is great building, great apartment building, and so this was the first night that we shot. So
shooting,
this
right?
is what I was
Yeah.
talking about earlier
Mm.
about coming in and me just kind of feeling very self-conscious and not unable to feel like I can rise to the occasion.
But
And
it plays
was
well,
just,
though. I mean, it plays
yeah.
well with Darren,
Mhm.
you know, that anxiety, you know?
Yeah, I mean, and so she basically was like, "You're gonna be okay, dude,"
Mhm.
because she basically on the bench was like, "Hey, it's okay." Like he's just feeling really alone and just kind of lost. And
Yeah.
then he,
Yeah.
I remember this.
Yeah.
I did
And I
like
think
that.
this is
Oh, go ahead.
the hope, right? This
Mhm.
is the hope. This is the like, look, man, I'm fucked up. You fucked up and got us. We gonna be all right. I mean,
Yeah.
but
basically.
He gonna be all right.
but I think but it's very much there's something about this woman that she sees him in a way that very few people, even his brother,
Mhm.
hasn't seen him. And I mean, Katie's eyes are just
Yeah.
they're telling so much.
Unwordly.
Oh my
Mhm.
gosh, yeah. And I'm lost in them. And I think there is something where yeah. And I think we're gonna get to the end, which is the reveal, because I've like been holding on to like some of the
Yeah, of
stuff
course.
that I
Yeah.
want to say. But what's interesting is like she was like, "Can we do this again?" He was like, "Can we do this again?" And she was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Shit, I hadn't thought past that far." So now he's like, "All right, well, this is gonna happen." You remember this, Lonzo?
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
All right. Well, all right, we're
Yeah.
gonna do it.
Up,
We're gonna
on to the
do it.
next.
And
Mhm.
this is a Mobygratis beat that Alonzo found the music.
Mm.
Very
Was
good.
this-
These are all real cars. They're not our cars. They're not staged. We just posted up outside.
Yeah.
And so now we get it from her POV. Now she's kind of
Oh, yeah,
dealing
she's
with
great.
kind of the aftermath of that night and that date. I mean, this was just so great. And this was Steadicam. We wanted to kind of every camera movement had to have a purpose. And so
Mhm.
this was kind of the
She's-
thing. And if you look at her
That look right here.
and then you realize
Mhm.
Boom.
she was doing chemo with his wife. And shout out to Ravena Coe, who did hair and makeup for
Right.
that. But yeah, so and it makes sense that he would recognize her, and that she fell in love with this person, that this lady who she was doing chemo with, she heard about this love story and fell in love with this guy and found him and knew where to find him. So, it's really, yeah.
It's interesting too, because like, we always ask people who watch this, like, all right, well, what are your feelings about her? Like, how do
She
you
like she's-
feel
Like
about?
she's a creep.
Yeah, some people
No,
like took
no,
it that
no,
way.
don't.
Some,
No,
some
man.
people kind of took it like, like, wow, like,
It's like single white
Yeah.
female.
is this somebody that? Yeah, it was just. It's an odd thing. We got a lot of different reactions out there.
I never thought about it that way, because to me, it was very much like she heard about this and she probably understood his loss and his grief, because you have that beautiful moment on the bench. And again, for everyone that wants to hear the dialogue and hear the music, we'll have the link in the description for you to go and view it, where she says she made a friend. Like, I thought for somehow, like maybe he was like a childhood friend or something that he just didn't remember in his grief, until I
Right,
saw the
right.
picture. And then I was like,
Mhm.
okay, that makes sense. But then I also understand, because she probably talked about him so much that she
Feel like
knew
she
what was
knows
going to
him.
happen. And who's to say that she didn't say, "Can you please check up on him? Because I know he will be broken,"
There you go. That too.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's your analysis is one of the ones that we got. So like really quickly, I had connected when I was working on a bigger feature for this, and I think Charles, you and I were talking a lot back in our mall days about this idea of the feature, and I had written an actual feature for this, but then obviously realizing that I was telling two different stories, so I had to break it up. But one of the things was I had reached out to the widowed community. So there's like organizations like Soaring Spirits is a really good one, which is they have a camp for widows, like an adult camp or a camp for widows called Camp Widow. Highly recommend. They're a great organization. I had reached out to their director and said, hey, I'm trying to do a feature. I would like to talk to you. She lost her husband. And I was like, could we talk? And so we got drinks. She had seen the film and she was absolutely moved by it and was like, this is really, really special. She was like, would you mind if I shared this with members of our organization, like other widowed folks? And I was like, absolutely. And then next thing you know, I get a call from, and I was telling Lonzo, I got a call from a widowed community in Seattle asking, this lady was on the plane asking, could I show your movie to our widowed community? And then Lonzo, tell him what happened when we were at Holly Shorts. Shout out Daniel Soul and Theo.
Oh,
Man,
yeah.
I love how you
yeah.
guys are crushing our questions before we can get there. Which
I know.
Man,
circle back.
It's so good.
I gotta get this one
Yeah.
out though. I
Yeah.
gotta get this one out. Yeah, like so the guy that was handling the screening, our particular screening, we do the Q&A and after that. But after the Q&A, he comes up to us and he's just like, this film really resonated with me because I lost my wife in kind of a similar, situation. And I was just like, wow, like this, I had no words for him because, the power of what we can do,
As artists, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what I love about what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
man.
I
I
mean,
think not to take away from the power of just art, asset, or discipline. But you said you were in Holly Shorts. And then actually, before I jump to festival question, what was Post like? The two of you seem to be have like an intentional style in your direction. And I think when Shock and I did this with just myself, I was going through, I'm more of like sometimes an intuitive person in the moment of like, oh, this feels right in the moment. And I'm like pivoting. So in post, it seems like a lot of what you shot was intentional. So was it a smooth edit process, or did you find any like things that you weren't expecting? You're like, okay, this works.
I think Lonzo, I think probably David, because David was living incredibly close to where I lived, I was at his house. We were on top of each other to make sure that was going to work.
Yeah.
But I will say the scene on the bench, that was the real kind of, because we wanted
like
it
that
to
weird
be
thing.
Lonzo, under 20. We wanted to be under
That was
20.
the goal. I think we
That-
hit 24.
And so we wanted to be kind of under 20. And then I think that bench scene was the only scene where we were like, what do we do with this? Everything
Right.
else kind of flowed the way that
So
everything
the
would
only-
flow.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
only
Like,
darling that you had to chop.
yeah, I
Right.
mean, and that was okay.
And a lot,
because
and
I
a
re-
lot of Alex dialogue too. Yeah.
and that was trust me,
That was
because
fun.
when I wrote it, because
Yeah.
you're writing in the back of your mind, because I know you guys feel this, especially you too, Shaka, where it's like, I'm gonna write me a nice speech here. And I'm gonna deliver me a nice speech because I wrote it. And that means we gotta say it.
You're
And then-
attached to it. You're like, yes, this is me
Yeah.
emoting. Yeah.
Exactly. And this is what the different brains that you got to put on. When you put on your director brain, then with my brother, we're like, okay, well, what's this scene really about? And really, who's driving the scene, right? And it's like, I'm doing too much talking that's more emoting. Katie's driving the story and moving the story forward, which was the main
At
point.
this point.
She's basically telling him, this is how I got through. Maybe this is how you could get through.
Right.
And so from a post perspective, I thought that that part of the edit was really important. We spent a little bit of time on that. I think, Lonzo, you dealt with some music stuff. Lonzo found some great
Yeah.
music for us.
Yeah, I had a question on that because you said, I think, Moby or something like that?
Mobygratis.
Yeah, Mobygratis. Yeah, Mobygratis.
yeah.
Moby's it was started by the artist Moby. And there's like hundreds of instrumental music that's there that you can license, I believe, like for 2 years. And it's free. Like you don't pay anything. Their only deal is, you can't really be making a profit out of this. Like this can't end up on TNT or anything like that. But it's a great service out there. We use this on twice, I think, for two films.
So that allows you to submit it to festivals. So using that as a segue, you clearly took it to festivals. What was that like? Did you go through like Film Freeway? How many festivals? Were you like, we're going for Sundance?
But the festival piece, I'm going to say this before we get to that point. This is one of the things I learned is that when you're doing a film like this, if you can, don't rush. Don't think about the edit and post process. Think about the film festival process. Basically, how can I put this? I wouldn't have rushed post to make deadlines. And I think we kind of did
that's
that with
good.
this one. The edit to Alex's point, was smooth, but everything else wasn't as smooth. Color, some other things, sound, the post sound or whatever. And I think we tried to rush that, and we sent a couple of WIPs out, and it was just like, if we had to do it all over again, we would have went ahead and took our time with it.
And by WIP, you mean work in progress, right?
Work in
Work in
progress.
progress,
Sorry.
yeah.
Work in progress. Yeah. So
If I could just say really quickly, this was, I'm thinking about this now. Yeah, I mean, our friend Alec was our boom guy and did sound, and the bench scene was actually all ADR because I don't know if you remember, Alonzo,
Right.
that massive
the fan
was like,
we love uncontrollables.
oh my gosh,
I can say.
I know it's a special of ours. But yeah, so we had a massive fan, so having to do ADR for that, and again, like Lonzo said, kind of rushing the process. But I thought Alec did such a beautiful job of also being on set. And his wife, who was my kind of longest friend in LA, who's since passed, Jessica, who was a beautiful, beautiful soul, was our set decorator, and has been a part of everything that I had done. This was the last film that we worked on together before she died. And color was a problem, and we had to get that fixed, and then doing the sound and stuff. But as Lonzo said, it's like, look, don't rush it. If you have to, and don't do the late deadline. Don't even do regular. Do that early bird. You want to be one of the first ones that they see, so that they lock you in early, and that your competition is really up against the ones who are also early. I mean, I think our movie, the ones that all four of us did, Hidden, LA Shorts International, that was an early bird submission that we did, and we got told in April that we were in, and they weren't doing notifications until June.
Yeah.
So
well, I think it gets harder to slot them as they start picking their films. So yeah, I think I talked about this before. You could have a good film, but they really only have like 9 to like 13 minutes left, and you're like, this was good, but it's not going to fit in the slots we have open now.
Numbers. Yeah.
Also, for those that are balling on a budget, early deadlines are usually cheaper
for sure
too.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
$20, $30 fees work a lot better than 80.
You two are the perfect guests because like we came in prepared with like a list of questions. You naturally just hit them as we move through this. No, because like one of mine was like, what if you remade it today? What changes? Like, you answered like the festival thing. You naturally just kept like knocking out these questions. So I think you kind of already answered this, but what would you give? And just overall, as actors, as like co-writers and directors of this, if you can give like advice to your past selves, what would it be?
I mean, less is more sometimes. I think from a writing perspective, if you're an actor, you want to sometimes speechify, but can you convey without the words being there? And I think even from a production standpoint, this was the most extensive that we've ever been in terms of multiple locations. We had 2 sets of background. Like we had the restaurant, and then we had the kid's birthday. Those are 2 different sets of people. And so I think sometimes if you're doing a short idea, I think John August on Script Notes said, shorts are not about the character, shorts about the event. So find the event that you can kind of allow your characters to be in, and then see what happens there. Lonzo?
I I think that kind of leads into my thought is that, if you can hire more crew. Don't try to do it all. And if you're a director, you want to kind of focus on that. You want to focus on the story. You want to, focus on the performance. You don't want to have to focus on everything else behind peripherals, and I think it'll just make your job a lot easier,
And I think that really worked for our film Hidden, all 4 of us, because
100%. That's what I'm thinking about. That's exactly. That was the difference. So shout out to you guys. That was the difference for me.
I really had a lot of fun
have you guys
working
as
on
support.
that. Yeah, because we had that. We were able to focus on story and the actors and kind of what we really do, the director thing, which is problem solving. Scorsese always says, the majority of the time you're not really dealing with the human condition. You're dealing with some asshole here needs to ask you this question about this. And it's just like, well, I'm trying to focus on this scene, and they're just like, hey man, but this over here. And so it allowed us to problem solve, but you guys were just exceptional to work with. And I think
100%.
really quickly, one of the way in which my brother and I work, and I think it really works well, is just, it's all like a personal relationship of just that turns into a shorthand. So even on set of Hidden, our film, we all kind of started to speak in a shorthand because we all started to kind of like understand what we were trying to do. And then the way Alonzo and I works is that I'll have a story come through and I'll start talking to him about it. By the time I start talking, he understands what I'm about to write. And then once he reads it, he knows exactly what we're doing here because we grew up watching movies together. Like we quote movies all the time. We text each other movie line. I was texting him. He was texting me like because it was raining in LA. I sent him a gif of Lieutenant Dan in the storm, and Lonzo's texting me dialogue. You know what I'm saying? And it's like we
it's like
are
clockwork, man.
the way our brains are connected.
So
there's
wait,
just
so it's like you're like it's raining in LA, Lieutenant Dan gif, and he's like, "You got new legs."
I think I said, it's
No.
either you or
Or
me.
you call this a storm? But I mean, it's like
Yeah.
it's stuff like that where it's like we speak in such a our sensibilities are very similar, and the stories that we want to tell, we want to tell those types of stories, those intimate stories that are about relationship and connection to each other and to people.
Project, what are you working on? Where are you now?
I'll start, and Lonzo, you can jump in. I have a pilot that has moved around in town a little bit, and I've submitted it along with an application for fellowships for these writing fellowships. And so that's kind of where that pilot is. It went around, it got some really great feedback, and I was really happy with it. Lonzo liked it, and it worked. But we have there are a couple of films, and Charles, you know about one of them, and one is an offshoot of this piece, and I don't know how much you want me to get into it, but it's
Just the log line for it again.
I mean, it's just
Yeah.
a group of friends come together. A group of friends who haven't been together in a while come together because a friend is terminally ill, and the question is that if you grow apart from your group of friends, is the love still there? And that's one of the things that we really kind of explore, is the love still there, and what are one of the main reasons why friends grow apart. And so it's again dealing with relationships and stuff like that. And then there is a hidden feature that is milling about because of how efficiently I think we could shoot it, and understanding. Lonzo and I've talked about where the story goes and kind of what happens to him at the end of that film and where it continues on. So on my end, that's kind of what I think we got going on. Lonzo.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, just that the hidden feature, and then I'm also working on writing a feature too. Basically, crypto hits the streets, so it's like kind of a crime thriller
Crypto
type
in
of
the
thing.
hood.
Yeah, something like that.
So Tales from the Crypt. No,
No,
sorry.
right?
It's just dumb.
It's like
Tales from the Crypt is a classic.
I think as artists, when you don't see success in the way that you think you're expecting, you get a sense of like failure for yourself, because what you've deemed as successful is something up here. It's like sinners, right? You're trying to reach that level. Like I've had a couple of therapy sessions that has strictly been about Ryan Coogler.
Wait, time out.
Wow.
Time out. Time out. T.O. We're calling time out here. Just some overlap between how I started this year and kind of what's kicking this off, and you talking about the kind of the insecurities and anxiety you had as a filmmaker on this specific film, Hello Again.
Yeah.
Coogler said that what Alonzo did for you, Chadwick did for him on Black Panther. So just know that like you're in good company, because that self-doubt creeps in no matter what level you're on.
Yeah. And I think I don't know if it was I think it was your podcast, and I think Shaka, I had seen it on your post, because Charles doesn't believe in Instagram, but no footprint for him. I saw that, and I was like, oh yeah. And I never felt more seen, but I think someone said that comparison is the thief of joy.
100%.
And I think I have people like my brother, I have my girlfriend Lauren, I have so many dear friends, I have you two. Like Charles, you're one of the most important kind of cheerleaders in my life, who tell me to keep going, and you believe. And I think you need that, because there are going to be times when you're just going to be like, am I getting too old for this? Am I missing this time? And I think what sustains people is community. And I think if I can give you any advice, like find community of people where you are, who understand your struggles, and you guys come up together. I mean, why do you think these certain folks, they're just like, they're tight because they all kind of came up together. They all had the same struggles. But connect yourself with a community of people who are rooting for you, and you're rooting for them, and it's like, all right, well, what are you going to do with it?
Right.
So you have to have that tenacity, and it's not for the weak. This stuff is not for the weak. Giving feedback is not, receiving feedback is not for the weak. But if it's about producing the best story possible, that's the only thing that's got to matter. You got to be hungry for this shit. You know what I mean? And so it's like, we have that hunger.
No, that's a great way to close this out. which is like, one, this industry is going to test your resolve, and you have to be committed. And two, to kind of strengthen that resolve is surround yourself by like-minded people and network laterally, like come up with people.
Mm-hmm.
But we want to thank both you, Alex and Lonzo, for coming on, the Smith brothers
you
and
guys.
cousin.
I just
take
want to
it.
say thank you to the
Yeah.
OpenQ family and OpenQ Productions. We loved working with you guys. We look forward to working with you on our next projects, whatever that will be. I'm so grateful that you
100%.
guys wanted to talk to us about.
Where could our viewers follow you? I'll look up your work if you have a website or an Instagram or anything like that. Just shout
I'm
it
gonna
out.
slide that to Alex. Alex, you
Oh,
wanna
great. Yeah,
do the
no. So
favors?
come and find us. We're Rosary Films has a YouTube page. It's got both of our two most recent films
Links
that
down
we've
there.
done. Yeah, in the description, you can find me on Alex at the Boot on Instagram, and you can find Alonzo at International Zoe on Instagram. And if for our most recent film, Hidden, you can see Hidden Short Film on Instagram. And so you can see kind of the process of the people involved in our most recent short film.
Cool. And for us, you can find us on IG, TikTok, OpenQ Productions. You can follow me personally at Shaka Omari, Omari on Instagram. And then we do have this on YouTube as well as our podcast, OpenQ Productions, or OpenQ Podcast, actually, on YouTube as well. So I think with that, unless Charles, you have anything else?
No. I just appreciate everyone for Alonzo and Alex for coming on, and everyone for watching and listening, man. Go watch this film. It's beautiful, and follow these artists' journey.
We'll see you.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Peace.
Thanks, guys.